At this time, I'd like to welcome my 2012 broadcast partner, Steve Zolak. Bring him up to the stage to lead a panel discussion. I knew they didn't like you. Lead a panel discussion with some of Troy's former teammates. A warm round of applause, please, as we invite up Drew Bledsoe, Teddy Bruschi, Kevin Fowler.
Sunglasses. I'd like to thank Larry Wiggum for sending his shoes so Ty Law could wear them for the festivities tonight. Just kidding, you look dapper. I guess we start with tonight's honoree, and Troy was kind of telling us stories, and I didn't know whether to stand up. He said before '93. I got here in '91, but I guess I'm a tweener. I was a post '93 guy, but I can't tell you how many times Troy and I, at all the moments we had, because everybody said you couldn't do it. You weren't big enough. You weren't fast enough. You weren't picked high enough in the draft. And I can't tell you how many huddles in practice that I got in over a course of about 8 years, where he and I pretty much fought for our lives on a daily basis. But it was always us two on the practice squad, and there was always 9 other guys that they brought in that they kept cutting. But Troy, you got here in 1993. You got released in 1994. Most guys get cut early in their careers. And you guys know the business throughout the National Football. You get cut early in your year. Rarely, Troy's career is known as a special teams player. You being on the defensive side of the ball, we'll get to Ty Law and their little thing that they had going, taking plays off. Just learned about that now. When did you notice that, boy, Troy's going to be special as a receiver?
No, what I want to talk about is Troy Brown as a defensive back. because that's what I remember. I mean, it's always, if you ask me about one play that I remember for Troy Brown, I can't give you that answer. The one special play, because if there was just one, we wouldn't be right here, okay? When you see that highlight film that started, there's endless plays that you can remember in championship games, so there isn't really one. But I remember Troy coming into the defensive meeting room, and just as Troy was a leader by example, he didn't speak much. He was a quiet guy at times. Quietly, he snuck into the back of the defensive meeting room when Coach Belichick asked him to play defensive back. And me and Vrabes, Mike Vrabel, Rodney Harrison, we're in the back. Because Ty's back, the vets are in the back. Young kids gotta listen, you get in the front. So we're in the back, and all of a sudden we're looking around. Troy, what are you doing here? And Troy just goes. And that was Troy started playing defensive back. And what was the first game? Was it St. Louis?
Yeah, St. Louis, because Ty went out there and broke his foot in Pittsburgh.
So Ty breaks his foot versus the St. Louis Rams there at their place, right? We're in the huddle. We call the defense. Troy's in the game. We're like, Troy's playing defensive back. He's in the game. Me and Vrabes are like, does he know what to do? And we both went, looked at each other and went, I don't know. Let's go. It's Troy Brown. But he ended up knowing what to do, and he could play defense too. He could do it all. Troy Brown, defensive back.
No matter how it went on, it could have been a bad play during practice. Coach could have been getting on him about a certain play that he didn't make or a punt, but he never really complained about it, or never really let anyone know that he was upset. So I tended to took notice to that and really kept paying attention to him and kept noticing him. And at one point I was like, man, who is this guy? You know, he doesn't say anything, and I looked at the roster, Troy Brown, 8th round. Pretty much in these days, that's not even getting drafted, but oh, trust me, it ain't a bad thing for him right now. Just seeing that and noticing that how hard he worked and how hard he did whatever he had to do. And there's a couple of things that we always said, me and him, every time he stepped on the field and made a play. And that was one thing was just do what you do whenever you get out on the field, and everything else to take care of itself, no matter what was going on. And another one was, the more you can do as a New England Patriot, the more you can do as a player, it's going to make you accomplish a lot of things in life as well as what you're doing on and off the field. And to learn the aspect of the game, playing the game of football from Troy Brown was just one of a blessing to me really as a football player, because we all know how to play football when we get to this level. We all know how to do it, but you have to learn how to be a professional. Either way, from learning from someone like Troy Brown or learning from another player. And Troy Brown was that person for me, and that's why he's my idol.
You have to think about it, that he was one of the best slot receivers to ever play the game. And that's what they asked him to come do, is play the slot. Basically, Troy, if you can't cover yourself, something wrong with you. So go out there and cover yourself. Do that. But it was amazing what he did. And, you know, just Troy, the way he approached the game. And we talk about he didn't say much. We just didn't. He talked. We just didn't know what the hell he was saying. Because he mumbled. He mumbled when he talked. You know what I mean? He say, hey, Troy, you gonna get something? Well, I'm saying. Hey, Troy, what they have for lunch? I don't need chicken wings. So you really had to just get up on him to see what he was actually saying. But man, he was a good guy. I mean, his spirit, his approach to the game, his love for the game was always there. And I can say when I came in as a rookie, you know, he didn't like me very much because I was a rookie, and I appreciate you working me like you did, you know what I mean. But we kind of formed a bond as we got a little older, and he started respecting me a little bit, you know. And I had to come ask Troy, hey, we practicing today? One-on-ones. I'm gonna tell you now, Mr. Crab, but I couldn't tell you then. I had to ask him, is we practicing? No, we're gonna take this one off today. What you say, Troy? We're gonna chill out today. Now I said, okay, cool. So the latter part of it, so from, I can say 7 of my 10 years here, this is the only guy I went one-on-one with. I didn't cover nobody but Troy Brown in practice, but when it was time to work, you know, and I might have been hurting a little bit, and I say, Troy, you know, I'm hurting today. We got to practice today, big buddy. And also, why you get to choose? It's always on your terms, huh? So, you know, I had to come play, man. But Troy, I mean, you always knew what to expect out of him, and he's going to give you the effort. He's going to give you the drive, and then once you look at him when you're out there on the field, you say, you know what? If you can't do it for yourself, I got to do it for Troy, because he probably is the only man in the NFL history that get cut by a team and come back and still play 15 years. I know I got cut, and I still ain't came back.
Turn over to Gil Santos.
Thank all the panelists, and some great answers and great stories. Now I'd like to invite Robert and Jonathan Kraft back on stage, along with each of the Patriots Hall of Famers in attendance, for a little photo opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, Patriot fans, players, former players, Hall of Famers, thank you.
Thank you.